morning and welcome to Morning Coach. Today, I am so glad you're with us. Hey, it's JB. Super pumped you're here. November 11th, 2024, ready to go. It's a Monday. I love Mondays. Mondays are our day to get organized, really get focused on taking the week ahead and going after it. And I got a great day planned for you because I got some questions that came up at our mastermind a few weeks ago, and I want to go over those with you that I think are really going to help you. But before we do that, remember, important you're doing a morning ritual. Take some time for self-care. Listen to CoachCast. Get those planners in place with that 7P, right? Have the right perspective and set the right priorities, whether you have a plan or not. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But make sure you're doing that routine, okay? And then this week, what do we got going? We're going to talk about self-awareness today, but I'm going to talk really about kind of planning, okay? We're really important idea and thought about whether you're planning or not, and we're going to get into that. Tomorrow's our book study. We're stepping back a little bit. I'm going to go over chapter 1, 2, 3 again. We kind of went over some tips last week. This week, we're going to go over the intro. Don't have to buy this book. I just wanted to do it. It's Stop Overthinking. You can go in the Compass and get some information on it. It's a great book, but I'm using it more as a resource, right, for us to get ourselves to relieve stress and to get ourselves in a good place, right? So book studies are great. We're having fun with that. Tuesday. Wednesday, we've got the idea of being aware of the main goal and what you're after and what that means, okay? So we're going to get deep that day. On Thursday, we got Ask JB, getting to know yourself and really getting to know yourself even more. And we're going to discuss a little bit the white belt. So I want to talk a little bit about that program. Then on Friday, we've got structuring your finances, knowing your numbers. We're going to get into that because we're coming to the end of the year. Really important as we get to the middle of the month on Friday. Obviously, Saturday, Dr. Paul's been killing it with some great information lately. And then finally, Sunday, we're going to talk about some meditation ideas and tips. So we got a great week. I mean, it's a great one. And we want to close this month out strong. We want to get everything working, get this year closed out and then get ourselves in place. We want to understand our revenue. We want to understand what's happening in our lives as far as finances and really get some structure, like what's important. Like we really got to start thinking about that. And so a couple things came out of we had our long meeting. So every once in a while in our mastermind, we'll have a long meeting and just had some really great stuff come out of that. And first of all, we started talking about self-awareness, and Lori talked about getting more in the observer state. And so if you go all the way back, I mean, this is old school Morning Coach. Back 20 years ago when I first started, we were reading metaphysical. That's my background. So just in case you don't know, I was in business. I did an MBA, and I was running an aerospace company, and I had bought and sold aircraft. Very successful career in my 30s. Traveled the world. It was a really good career for me, but I was very unhappy. I would go sit in my office and I would think, gosh, you're a blue collar kid from Indiana. You should be happy. And it was so painful because I used to beat myself up because I'm like, you should be satisfied. And I wasn't. It wasn't me. I wanted to be on the beach and hang out. And I'm more of a laid back, that's just me. I a kid that wanted to be a surfer in Indiana. That's what I grew up with. Spicoli. I love that. Big Lebowski. It's, and here I am, this intense person, but I did love that life, right? And here I was running a business that I just didn't really enjoy. And that's when I started my metaphysical journey, Eckhart Tolle, and really studying the world's religions and philosophies and esoteric ideas. And as I wrote my book about everything that I learned about finding happiness, right? Really discovering true joy instead of this kind of fake thing that I was living, I really understood this part of myself that was so much deeper than anything else, and that was observing. Being able to observe my life and understanding that somebody's listening. Like, who's the thinker? So when you're hearing your thoughts, who's hearing those thoughts, right? So these are very deep concepts, but to simplify it, it's like, let's just observe our life. Let's be very self-aware of why we're feeling the way we're feeling, why we're doing what we're doing, and understand these concepts. Okay, so this is all going to come together for you real quick here. So I as we're doing this, Jurgen blew me away. Jurgen always blows me away. But Jurgen blew me away almost to tears because when somebody's life transforms from your work and everything that you do, that's the culmination of why we do it. Yes, there's a financial part of this. It's a bit, but at the end of the day, it's because you love people. And you want to see that transformation. You want to see somebody really get to the point where they're just having joy, right? And Jurgen talked about how it took a long time to really discover himself so that he could figure out his plan and talking structurally about his plan. And I love the fact, and I don't think he'd mind me sharing, but I love the fact he talked about his wife. Like, what are you doing? Why are you in this program, right? And like a year and a half later, as he really dialed in, and Jurgen's just awesome. Like, he just does so many things. You meet him in the community. But, he said his wife said, I don't really know what you're doing with all this stuff, but I like the Jurgen that you've become. You're less stressed, you're joyful, you're happy, you're more focused. And, that blew me away. And it really made me step back because I listened to Jurgen, and I always listen. He's a genius. He's a just super smart guy that was able to look at some of the systems we did and just do a great job in his own life utilizing the processes that we have, right? And so as I listened to him, it came to me this week, as we're talking about self-awareness, that the key here, and it even hit me hard, is that we have to know yourself, okay? And that's why Thursday we're going to talk about the white belt. And listening to him and his journey and how far he's come and everything that he's done and the successes that he's having in his personal life and professional life, it's understanding and having patience to know yourself within the framework of the system. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. I don't even think he realized how much it hit me. But it really made me think about everything that we're doing. There's a lot going on. So if you're new, there's a lot of people that go, gosh, there's so much to do here. Where do I start? And Paul was kind of questioning that in the mastermind. The idea is you start by understanding yourself and understanding your systems and the way you think and the way you put things together. And back to Lori and observing, you start observing what works and what doesn't work. And most of our people in the mastermind and in Morning Coach, are maybe not diagnosed, but have attention deficit disorder or whatever they call ADHD now, right? We're all over the place. And so a lot of people like Karen, she's like, I'm just not a good planner. I'm not a good planner. And then Paul was saying, the goals thing's a little challenging. And I get it. So here's what I want you to leave with today, okay? And this is so critical. Is that the process of what we're doing is getting you to listen to things so you understand what doesn't work and what does, and that you can dial in your clarity of what you're going to do, whether you're a planner or not. Now, I will tell you, and we're going to talk about this Wednesday, that we do need to have some structure, okay? Whether you want to write it down or not, and me and Karen always yell at each other. I keep saying, I want to see it written down. And even Jurgen, who did an amazing job in 23, didn't really write his 24 because it just works in his head. But whether you write it down or not, okay, this is so critical, is you've got to figure out what does it look like for you. And the concepts are critical. And we have our Viking, Vitas, who I love, right, who sent in one of the most complex plans ever. He just jumped in and did it, and that's his system. It works for him, and he's constantly tinkering. Karen, who doesn't even have a planner, she does everything in her head, right? That's what she does. And I'm okay with that if that's how you operate, as long as you have some clarity of where you're going. And that's what we're going to be working on the next few weeks. And so a lot of people that are brand new are like, where do I start? We start by starting to discover yourself. And going back to Jurgen, this is not something that happens overnight. You're constantly learning more and more about yourself. You're constantly learning about what works and what doesn't. I've talked a lot about how in March, and we did our check, in March, April, I needed to change. I've made some mistakes along the way, but I've really changed a lot. Still made some mistakes, but I've changed a lot, right? And I'm learning that there are things that I need to do to make changes in my life that are working and not working. For example, writing. Haley did a great writing workshop the other day and just talked about outlining. I was a student in that. If you get a chance to go in the meetups, we have all kinds of things going on. We're growing those little by little. But Haley does a writing one once a month, and it was really good. And hearing her outline is what I've learned. And it was like, why is my fiction series that is important to me? I'm a Dungeons & Dragons guy. I love it. The Dragonlance Chronicles were a big influence in my life, just to share. Why aren't my books done? Why aren't they done? And the truth is they're not prioritized, but the truth is I have no plan. Like they're not within my structure. My writing's not in my structure. Sober Weekend's another book, just not getting done. It is now, but I had to learn why. I had to learn why is that such a restrictive thing for me? What is the resistance? And how do I put things that are resisting that I know that I want to do that will bring me joy into a plan that will work? So for me, my personal plan is the Remarkable Paper Pro. The new planning system, which we're working on right now. If you go up there, you're going to see it. It's added health. It's added some new navigation. And I'm going all in on that. And just like Jurgen is very similar to me, is that he uses his Remarkable as his planning system. Okay, that's what he uses it for. He doesn't allow other things to get in the way. That works for him. Why? Because he knows that that's what it's for. It's for planning. And there's a subconscious trigger for things that we do, right? So when you grab something and you know you're working on your plan, then it'll help you work on the plan. Now, if you're somebody, like many people who come to us are like, well, I've never been good at goals. I've never been good at putting a plan down. I've never been good at visualizing. We're going to talk about this Wednesday, but what I want you to slow down and start thinking about what really do you want your life to look like and why, okay, and why. This is the biggest issue for most people because a lot of people see other people and the way they live, and they want to live the way they want to live, but they don't see all the background of it, right? So it's like, why do you want to do that? A lot of people want to do Morning Coach, but do you want to do 1,000 videos? Do you want to do 5,000 coach casts? Do you want to, put all this coursework together? Do you want to build all this stuff? Probably no. Probably you want the lifestyle that I've created around this business, right? And that's where the onion has to get peeled back. That's why goals can be so difficult and setting things can be so difficult, right? And even we can call Rick Jarrow. I learned this years ago. It's called a trajectory because goals can actually be negative. They can be negative because if you don't hit them, then all of a sudden it's a negative thing. So we need to have, I like Jarrow's definition, it's a trajectory. We're going that direction. Because if you go out there and you have a goal to make so much money, let's say $100, and you make 99, you're certainly much better than if you didn't set that goal. But again, back to what I'm saying is the reason that a lot of people have issues is because they don't understand what they're doing. They're on the hamster wheel and they haven't taken enough time to, number one, find out about themselves. And that's why the white belt's so important. We're going to talk about that Thursday. And again, Jurgen reminded me of that. And number two, they don't take enough time to really understand what they're going after, what they're building. And number three is it's scary when you start to realize that you're probably creating the life around you yourself by the mental way you're thinking and by your activities and the subconscious activities you're doing on a daily basis. You're probably getting in your own way. So how do we do that? Well, we're doing it. You're in the right place. But just make sure, and I do the 7 Ps in the morning, that you have patience. Because like Jurgen said, it was a year and a half before he really started going, wow, okay, I got this down. This is your life. This is not something that you go for a day and it's like, okay, we're going to make all these changes, right? If you're 60 years old, you've been on this planet for 60 years. There's things that you've been doing for 60 years. Some of them work, some of them don't. Our objective is to find more of them that work and build a system that works for you to make your life better, to make your life more clear, to make your life more stress-free, to make your life more free-flowing. Again, in the mastermind, when I was talking, I said the difference between what we do here and almost every other place is lifestyle. It's about lifestyle. We want to help you build that lifestyle. We want to help you build community. We want to help you build relationships. That's what I love. It's about the energy. It's about the group. It's about Haley bringing her writing knowledge and sharing with us and just blessing us. It's about Ingolf and Dr. Paul coming together as physicians and looking at Dr. Paul's new business venture of helping academics expand their reach. It's awesome. That's my dream. Maybe not yours, but that's mine. And then my job is to bring you together, but not only bring you together, give you the systems and tools to make it work, but understand that it takes time. You're going to get in what you put into this. I'm going to give you the tools and the resources, but we got to work together because here's the situation. It's a very individual thing. You have to learn about you. You have to know who you are, why you think, what you're doing. You have to know why you're going after certain things. Or if you don't like planning, why don't you like planning? Are you scared of success? Are you scared of failure? There's a lot to this, and you have to peel back the onion. And as you do that, you're going to find that discovery. And just as Jurgen's wife said, I don't know what the heck's going on there, but I like the Jurgen you've become. I'm telling you, if you just stick with it, don't give up. Keep working with us. Ask questions. You will like who you become. I promise you that. Okay? So lots of love. Get out there. Have a great start to the week. And I'll be back right here tomorrow on MorningCoach.com.